Welcome back to Yanami, one of the top manga anime channels on YouTube. Today I will introduce you to one of the most intriguing and best theories in Boruto. I promise, especially the last part will blow your mind. And it's all based on a pattern that I have noticed in Boruto comparing Kara, Amado, and the cyborg/clones to Akatsuki, Nagato, and his pains and Naruto. Digging deeper, I found more similarities. Obito and Madara acting as a duo, with one essentially being used as similar to how two Otsutsukis travel, with one typically being used by the other. Like the two missing Otsutsukis who could later become the next Obito and Madara of the Boruto series, who according to the hierarchy manipulate Amado, just like Nagato was manipulated by Obito and Madara. Then there's Kaguya and Shibai, who based on this theory, is the one to be revived. Black Zetsu orchestrated events for Kaguya's return, including the manipulation of both Madara and Obito, so there might be a character like Black Zetsu in Boruto, who makes sure Shibai's will come back by manipulating the two missing Otsutskis who manipulate Amado. Kaguya was an enemy to the Otsutsuki clan, and so Shibai must also intend to wipe out the Otsutsuki clan, which is Kawaki's goal, so we have a direct connection to the main plot. Kawaki doesn't need to destroy the Otsutskis because the one set on destroying them will soon target the two last survivors, Kawaki and Boruto. I'm telling you, this theory is crazy. If the Boruto series mirrors the original Naruto series in terms of story structure and progression, which I'm convinced has been the case, especially since Kishimoto took over, there could be a plot hint before the time skip pointing to the main antagonist of the series. Let's begin with the Kara organization, which unmistakably alludes to the Akatsuki organization. This is a clue from the Boruto creators. Moving up the hierarchy, we find Pain, who functions like several puppets with a primary puppet, a crucial figure for Puppet Master Nagato. During a parallel in Boruto, it appears someone within Kara controls entities that aren't fully autonomous, even if it initially appears so. A fitting analogy for Nagato and Pain would be Amado and his cyborg/clones. Just as Nagato transformed his best friend, whom he deeply cared for, into one of the Pains, Amado did the same with his daughter, turning her into a cyborg. Or clone. Both Nagato and Amado lack the strength to fight directly, but possess abilities allowing them to control others. Nagato controls the pains. Similarly, Amado controls to some extent the cyborgs he creates and even the living people around him. He's skilled in manipulation tactics like blackmail or negotiation. In many ways, everything happening now is due to Amado. The main question is, did Amado foresee this series of events, or is he merely reacting like everyone else? Without Amado's involvement, Jigen wouldn't have found the perfect vessel for Ishiki. Moreover, without Amado, Ada, who seems to be the root of recent troubles, wouldn't even exist. Why would he create a cyborg capable of altering reality if not to change the reality? The theory is that much like Nagato directly controlled the pains, Amado might be doing the same but in a more subtle manner. He might be planning a grand scheme, possibly using all his cyborgs without them being directly aware or feeling directly controlled. These cyborgs believe they are acting on free will, driven by desires they assume are natural. But in truth, their very desires might be manipulated or pre-programmed, including the activation of Ada and Daemon. Here we enter a rabbit hole and it's quite deep. If we dissect the most recent events concerning this theory, we might conclude the following. The reality shift was a result of Ada's ability combined with Kawaki's wish. This has been confirmed. Both components were essential for the ability to function, also confirmed. If this is all part of a grand plan, then there's no room for coincidence. So both Ada and Kawaki were destined to act as they did, even if it didn't seem that way. However, Amado still behaved as though Ada's abilities were troublesome and inconvenient. He kinda implied that he designed them to defeat Jigen but didn't anticipate them going rogue. Something along those lines. Clearly they were far more powerful than Jigen, especially considering Daemon's ability, yet Amado was forced to suppress them or rather destroy them. He could have simply activated them and the game would be over. One might argue that he couldn't deploy them because Kawaki wasn't ready, meaning Jigen had to stay in the picture a bit longer. But why would a genius like Amado, who can craft such advanced technology, create cyborgs designed to overpower Jigen before Kawaki was prepared? Is he really trying to convince us that he wasted the abilities of the most formidable Otsutsuki known, essentially a god? Yet despite the apparent failure, things turned out surprisingly well. Strange. Was this a plan B or mere luck? Or maybe all this is always plan A? Even if we think Amado genuinely saw Ada and Daemon as his trump cards, why did he design them as they are? They don't obey him, in fact, they hate him. He claims to have no influence over their personalities, unlike clones whose personality can be predetermined. Cyborgs usually retain their personalities unless their brain have been altered. But if that's not the case for Ada and Daemon, and if he genuinely can't control them, then why did he design them, knowing they wouldn't obey, making them ineffective in the original plan to defeat Jigen? Naturally, their first thought would be attacking Amado, not Ishiki. Yet even if we believe Amado anticipated Ishiki's actions, thinking he would confront Ada, which would prompt the Daemon to combat Jigen, the challenge of Ada's ability remains. It's clear that Amado acts as if he struggles with Ada's existence, especially when he's in Konoha. Besides, none of Ada's abilities would work on Ishiki to start with, so Ada wasn't made to defeat Ishiki, it's all a lie. This means Daemon wasn't created for Ishiki or Jigen either, but to protect Ada, since she lacks defensive abilities. Daemon's primary role is protection, he doesn't even act human. Both Ada and Daemon possess the DNA and abilities of Shibai Otsutsuki. This proves that Amado could decide on the ability they would have. He intentionally, for some reason, gave Ada her abilities, yet now treats her as if she's a problem. If his goal was really for Daemon to defeat Jigen after Jigen attacked Ada, he didn't need to give her this love ability, particularly not the reality-changing power. I think it's crucial to understand that if things weren't going according to Amado's plan, then Ada wouldn't be around, Code wouldn't have activated her. Amado deliberately made her non-threatening to prevent her from facing dangers. He designed everyone to fall for her, providing an extra shield. Furthermore, he also modified Daemon, whose main skill is deflecting any attack, acting as her guardian, as she and he both have stated. It's evident that Ada is crucial to Amado, but not for the reasons he shared. Stripping away the mentioned aspects, Ada's remaining attribute is to alter reality, so this might be the power Amado wants to safeguard and exploit. This power might be the reason why Ada exists. Still, it's uncertain if Amado's strategy failed and if the intended wish was something else, like please bring back my daughter, not erase Boruto from existence. Or maybe more realistically, please make Delta adopt my daughter's personality. It's definitely plausible, but it doesn't align with the need for Kawaki to have the karma. Because of this, there's likely more to the story. With the wish, he doesn't need the karma. He already possesses the DNA of his daughter, only her personality needs to be rewritten. Amado is clearly not foolish. He's aware that Ada's ability could rewrite Delta's personality, essentially bringing his daughter back. However, he can't access that power because he isn't an Otsutsuki himself. So what does he need? He needs an Otsutsuki. Unless we assume that he tries to revive his daughter using yin-yang with the creation of all things and karma. Black karma, white karma. Spiritual energy, physical energy, which is why one has powers, the other has not. But that's topic for another video. All this suggests that he might not need Kawaki for the stated reason, which is to revive his daughter who might never have existed. By creating Delta and then pre-programming Ada, he could make everyone believe he has a daughter. This will provide him with a reason to return the karma to Kawaki without raising suspicion. So if Amado aimed to alter reality, he would first need to bring forth Shibai's abilities. Then he would have to safeguard that power. Next, he would need to create an Otsutsuki, or more accurately, a vessel to activate it. He will then have to move that vessel to a strategically vital location for him, Konoha. And why Konoha? Because the cyborgs were never intended to defeat Ishiki. That was all a lie. He recognized Kawaki's significance to Ishiki, knowing Ishiki would come for Kawaki. To defeat the mightiest, he would have to enlist the most powerful humans ever to challenge him. Then he would have to ensure another individual could effortlessly transport himself and Ada to Konoha. This way, Konoha would learn of Ada's existence. Later then, Amado could contact Konoha, suggesting they escort Ada back with him. An ideal method to bring Ada into Konoha without making the proposal directly. It's all about creating the right situation. To set this in motion, he would also have to provide Ada with a motive to head to Konoha. That's why he granted her the power that makes everyone fall for her, compelling her to show interest in only Kawaki. From this, it's evident he employed Code as a means of transport to Konoha, then staged his own abduction, playing the victim yet again, because he knew Code needs him to remove the limiter. That's why he has the limiter. It's also part of the plan. Now for a significant revelation, Ada possesses the ability to rewrite and reprogram reality. Her name references a crucial programming language, Ada, which is used for manipulating data and processes. The name Ada is based on Ada Lovelace. Love echoes Ada's abilities. Ada Lovelace is often considered the world's first computer programmer. What's more interesting is the name Daemon, a familiar concept in computer science. In computing, a daemon represents a background process operating independently solely from user sessions. And clearly the name code also symbolically refers to computer science, more precisely to the concept of computer programming code. The notion of code can be linked to a set of instructions or the manipulating of reality within a computer's framework. This concept becomes even deeper when considering how coding determines the behavior of digital systems. Similarly, code has specific roles and powers in the Kara organization and in the larger narrative. Perhaps even in Amado's plan if he's also merely being manipulated like a piece of code. In this analogy, Amado is the programmer and Ada is the programming language. Code is the execution of his plan. All these clues suggest that code might also be under Amado's influence and could be a cyborg much like kawkai. Cyborgs are like humans made into robots. So perhaps the white karma isn't real either, but invented by Amado. If it does exist, then it's likely intentionally made because code was probably destined to act as he has. By now we have clearly drawn the connection between Akatsuki and Kara, as well as Pain and the cyborgs, and finally Nagato and Amado. The only ones left are Obito, Madara, Black Zetsu, and Kaguya. First, Obito and Madara. Given that they often presented themselves as a pair, even though Madara just used Obito, it aligns well with the idea that two Otsutsukis always travel together. One of them acts as the sacrifice for the 10 tails or as a source of chakra, so one is using the other just like Madara used Obito. This draws a strong parallel like the connection between Akatsuki, Pain, and Nagato with Kara, cyborgs, and Amado. The introduction of these two characters without delving deeper suggests they will play a significant role later in the story. If Obito influenced Nagato, then one of the two missing Otsutsukis might be manipulating Amado, aiming for Amado to revive the other. Just like Obito tried to bring Madara back to his full strength. It's an insane comparison, it can't be a coincidence, it fits so well. Similarly, how Madara betrayed Obito, one Otsutsuki might be trying to resurrect the other who could later betray or sacrifice them. So it's highly probable that the karma isn't for Amado's daughter but for one of the two Otsutsukis. Amado might have managed to bestow two different karmas. And then finally at the top of the hierarchy we have Kaguya and Black Zetsu. If neither of the two unidentified Otsutsukis is Shibai, then Shibai must serve as Kaguya's counterpart in Boruto, meaning he's the main antagonist. This again mirrors Naruto. Both Kaguya and Shibai are Otsutskis. They visited Earth, but choose not to exploit this planet for some reason. The powers were passed down to humanity in some manner. Both were mentioned by Amado in the same chapter when discussing the past. Both were separated from any free dimension. Kaguya was sealed while Shibai became a god and left this dimension. Kaguya didn't want to be sealed and we don't know if Shibai wanted to leave this dimension. If Shibai knew that Otsutskis would leave the dimension but had a reason to stay, he might have employed someone like Black Zetsu. This person could then try to ensure Shibai's return even though he no longer belongs to this dimension. This aligns well with Amado, as he was the one to discover Shibai's remains. However, this doesn't match the Naruto villain hierarchy or the Black Zetsu storyline. Someone must have influenced Amado to find Shibai. If Amado was under the control of one of the missing Otsutskis, then this Otsutsuki must have been manipulated by the Black Zetsu-like character earlier, even before Amado knew about the existence of Otsutskis. This implies that a Black Zetsu-type character must be among those we have already seen, manipulating events from the shadows. Maybe this character hasn't been introduced yet. If there's a new group of villains, like an Otsutsuki force that arrives on Earth, or another organization or missing members of Kara introduced after the time skip, it's highly likely that the Black Zetsu of the Boruto series will be among them. Or perhaps this character is already among those introduced. And by the way, when I'm talking about Black Zetsu, I literally mean a Black Zetsu type of being. If Kaguya could do that, why not Shibai? And if it's not such a creature, then it could be just a normal person. And this concludes the reflection of the Naruto villain hierarchy in Boruto. Everything hinges on Shibai's intentions. As I mentioned, it seems he wanted to become a god but didn't want to live with the consequences of not being able to remain in this world and become its only god. One could argue that his intentions might be good, drawing another parallel to Kaguya, just as Kaguya disagreed with the Otsutsuki clan and sought to defend herself. Perhaps Shibai also disagrees. However, instead of fleeing and defending, he might take the same path as Kawaki. This connects to the main plot, aiming to destroy every single Otsutsuki alive, including Boruto and Kawaki. So Kawaki doesn't even need to find Shibai. Shibai will first kill all Otsutskis and then will come to Earth to complete his grand scheme of freeing the world from the Otsutsuki clan. Following the typical heroic villain narrative, Shibai will probably claim that he can't bear watching his clan wipe out all life. With the power of his family evil evil will always be born, so he chose to become a god himself, then returned to eliminate all Otsutsukis, ensuring no one can become a god again. The final confrontation will then be against the last descendants of the Otsutsuki, marking the ultimate battle of the Naruto universe, ending the series for good. It began with the Otsutsukis and it will end with them. In the end, thanks to the DNA of Boruto and Kawaki, Earth will become the new Otsutsuki planet. And Kawaki has no reason to be an idiot anymore because all Otsutskis are dead. However, this time the Otsutskis will evolve from being destroyers of the universe to its protectors, the next evolution of humanity. And it will all start with the legendary blue-eyed boy Boruto. The end. So what do you think of this theory? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, it really helps me a lot. And if you want to see more Boruto content, then subscribe to this channel with the notification bell activated for weekly content. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!